my podcast, Season 1, Empower Talk, the gateway to a more empowered and enriched life. Empower Talk is not just a podcast, it's a transformative journey which unfolds every Monday at 2 p.m., bringing you compelling success stories. So before I introducing my special guest today, let me introduce myself first. Well, my name is Arpita Chatterjee, and I embarked my professional career at the age of 19 years as a receptionist and eventually reached the position of business head. So for last 2.5 years, I was working very closely with eminent coaches, and now I became a certified mindset and life coach. And let me introduce our today's guest, that is Miss Shipra Kukreja, who is a like wonderful human being, and not only good human being but a wonderful trainer. She's a corporate trainer, more than 15 years of experience in corporate trainer. She is also an MBA and also an did an organizational psychologist and lot of many talented person. So let's welcome Shipra Kukreja. And Shipra, please share your inspiring journey with all our audience and about yourself and how you started corporate journey, and your niche is also very interesting, that is business communication. So please, open to you, please share something about you.
Wow. So first of all, Arpita, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about this. And yes, when you are asking me about my journey, so I can say that it's a very interesting story. So do we have time for that?
Yes, absolutely, please go ahead.
Okay, great. So as I said that being a corporate trainer is an interesting story. So definitely, when we are kids, uh, we are in the habits of imitating somebody. So even you have you ever imitated somebody in
Yes,
your when you were kid?
yes, I
Okay.
imitate Sushmita Sen a lot when I was because I really wanted to talk like her, and I really loved her, initially, because when I started my
Super.
career at the age of if like when I was studying first year, she was got her Miss India and then Miss World thing, and I was very much inspired and really copied her so much for so long.
So that's really wow. When you have said that you have imitated like Sushmita Sen, like a lady which I love to inspire. So yes, definitely. But coming back, as I said, imitating. So yes, आप जैसे सुष्मिता सेन को कैसे somebody do as a doctor, somebody as a mother, father. So yes, when it comes to me, so I always imitated as a teacher.
Wow, amazing, amazing.
So for me, the doing a self study was entirely about imitating as a teacher. So I used to have my imaginary students. So when I have to understand the concepts or do a rote learning, so I always imagine that yes, students are sitting in front of me and I'm making them understand the things. And when I mean unable to answer the question which I have just memorized, I also used to beat the kids, the imaginary kids.
Wonderful.
So so I believe from that's where it started, that facilitating is my key, that yes, I would love to go ahead with this. And it's all been kind of a fairy story, because I remember, I mean, I cannot share everything right now because of the limited time, but yes, I could recall right now. Yes, it's all been so fairy, how I turned my iron gate of black color into a blackboard. So yes, definitely it was unbelievable. But when it comes to corporate trainings or business communication, right, I can say that it wasn't the initial plan, because I was originally interested in economics until I was in class 12, finished my board exams and holding my 12th card report card with only 75% of marks. So that's where after that there was an entry of plan B, and I started pursuing, which every commerce student does, that is BBA. So when I started pursuing my graduation, there was a day when I had an eye-opening class. I would say it was very thought-provoking, because it was not the regular subject of BBA, but I learned something very interesting, something which is called LIFE, that is life.
Nice.
So it was the very first class in my life which I was attending. and the ideas were not definitely not digestible in the first go. But after that class, I believe, because I was unable to choose my subject, being that which subject I can expert in to facilitate in future. So I, at that point of time, I thought that this is the best subject I think I can facilitate upon, because this is not boring subject which one will feel sleepy while listening to me. So this is something very that's where I thought of, and I started getting entered into the institutional and corporate training program. So that's how all my corporate training journey has started. But
Wow.
yes, when it comes to business coaching, there are another interesting piles of stories. So if you want me to continue with my those stories, I can do that.
Sure,
But
sure.
that's where
Please do that. It's really inspiring, and I'm sure your story can inspire a lot of people who are going to watch this podcast. Please go ahead.
no, definitely, I believe everybody has so many stories in their life. So our life experiences are basically our stories. So that's how, as I said, being into a business communication. Uh, I mean, it became my core when I was in class 12th again. When one day my class teacher, during the attendance period, she asked me to stood up. So when I was standing and she was taking the like attendance of everybody, and after that she started asking me weird questions like, what do you do at home? How are you feeling? Are you good emotionally? Like, how many members are there in your family? What your father does? I hope there is nothing at home. Uh, I mean, which is bothering you. You are not burden of something. I was like, why the hell is she asking me those
I
questions?
mean,
It was making me so embarrassed in front of all the students at that point of time. But the point she made at that time made me clear that why she was asking all those. So what she said was very interesting. She said, then why the heaven you don't speak up?
mm,
If there is no problem at your home and you are okay, you are fun loving kid, then why the heaven you do not speak up in the class? So she said that I have to ask other students to be mum because they talk a lot. And to you, I'm begging you, please speak up. You talk whenever you want in my period, but please talk. So that was the time I felt, I though felt little embarrassed, but I learned a very important lesson as well, the power of communication, that how your communication and the confidence matters so much. And again, while we are conversating right now, I could recall that, when I was in class one, uh, I mean, like, I mean, there are so many events goes on in the school, right? So there was one of the function in the function where I have participated, and I became usko kya kehte hain, jalpari, jalpari, yeah. So I
yeah.
have to, so I became a jalpari, and I have to sing a rhyme on the stage. And you won't believe, as soon as I was there on the stage, I forgot my rhyme. तो मछली जल की रानी है, जीवन इसका पानी है, हाथ लगाओगे तो डर जाएगी, बाहर निकालोगे तो मर जाएगी. So this was something, these are the few lines which I just need to speak on the stage, which I forgot
Forget.
altogether.
Mm.
But the disappointment I see in everybody's eyes at that point of time, even in my parents' eyes, was something again bothered me a lot. So that was, I think, it was the first point, and then comes the 12th incident. And then after that, what happened when I joined my, I could still remember my first informal presentation in my college, at my college. you know I remember that my throat was so dry, my heart was like, jumping out of my body, and my legs were so shivering at that point of time. And after every two sentences, I was taking deep breaths, but it was informal, and all the everybody who was there in the audience, they all were just trying to cheer me up. Shipra, you can do it, you can do it. And that was the first time I spoke in front of the people, and that's how it's all started. And after that, I remember that in my first job, I missed a huge opportunity because of my lack of communication and the confidence. And I got so lost at that point of time, because I think I was 21. So I felt so lost that I resigned from my job. And that's where my journey started, and I never looked back. I started aggressively and actively working out on my sort of opportunities to develop my communication skills. And that's when I joined my second job, working in an international BPO, speaking with international clients and opening up myself and developing my communication and practicing my communication, what all I was learning at that point of time. So that's how the importance, the power of communication, the clear and the confidence communication is what I learned, realized, and started practicing. And that's where my journey going as an institutional or a corporate trainer went on. And it's been 11 plus years that I am into I am training corporations and many individuals. And, sometimes you could definitely relate with this. It's been so incredible, incredibly rewarding to see that how you can help somebody improving their communication skills, and how witnessing, like, how it has an impact in their personal and professional life to grow. So I'm really excited. I think it's a continuous journey for me to learn, evolve, and I'm excited about what future holds for me. So this is all about my journey being a corporate trainer and a communication coach.
It's wonderful. And yeah, in the morning itself, I was listening one podcast by Priyanka Chopra, and she
Okay.
said in the podcast that we all need to be fail, 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 and rise like a phoenix. And you are the live
Wow.
example. Can see that
Wow.
no one can even and feel the way you are talking, that you are sometime like a submissive, or sometime you can't even speak. So that means like you really worked on yourself so much, and that's the that's a very important, that's a beautiful thing, that generally people, one sort of people are really get depressed or gone in a depression when they fail, and a person like you who has take the failure in a positive way and rise like a phoenix. Actually, you rise like a phoenix. Wonderful.
Wow, that's really so, so meaningful to me, and I'll take it this as a compliment. And definitely, yes, as what you say, okay, I myself can vouch, because when my school friends or my college friends look at me and they are like, "How can you be into training?" It's like, you have chosen the field entirely opposite to your
Opposite.
personality type. So I was like, I'm enjoying it now. So
Yes.
do others. So yes, here I am.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's really, really very inspiring. So, as you said about the business communication, so my next question is also related to the business communication. So, how does this effective communication contribute to successful leadership, and what role does it plays in team dynamic?
Okay, good question. I would say there are plenty of examples which I have experienced so much. So far, and when it comes to leadership, it reminds me of one wonderful quote. It says, "I believe communication is an art," right? And I've been listening to many TED speakers saying the same. So yes, it says that the art of communication is in the landscape of leadership. So what it means, Arpita, आपने भी इसको experience किया होगा, that a good communicator can be the best leader, or I would say a successful leader. But a
Definitely.
leader it is not sure that a leader is a good communicator,
True.
right? So that's where the journey towards being a successful communicator, oh sorry, to being towards a successful leadership starts, and that's what I believe in. Because जब हम एक leaders की तरफ देखते हैं, so there are many roles and the responsibilities they have to go through, or they have to I would say deliver in the corporates, when we are talking specifically in the corporates. अब एक मैनेजर भी एक मैनेजरियल पोजीशन पे जरूर है, but still they are playing a role of a leader. It's not that only the CEOs or CEOs are the leaders, or the decision makers are the leaders, but yes, even the managers are playing the role of a leader, being on the position of a manager. So there are many things which they need to deliver, and has to come up to their expectation of their teams. So I mean, like, जब हम एक लीडर की तरफ देखते हैं, so there are many things जो हमारे खुद के दिमाग में आता है, that yes, this is how we project our leaders. So if I'll ask you, Arpita, like any one quality you would like to see in your leader, so which one it would be?
Confidence.
Confidence. That's true. So even when we are talking about confidence, or we are talking, because confidence comes when you have clarity in your communication, and before that you need to have a clarity in your mind.
Mind.
So in
Exactly.
order to have the clear goals, clear vision, and the alignment of the goals of the teams with the alignment of the goals of the organization,
True.
all this role has to be played by a leader itself. And when a leader has to play, so how will they actually, uh, put this or convey these messages to their team? So the only thing and the only factor is that one has to be good at their communication. Only then they will able to convey the clear objectives or able to align with the organization objectives as well. Secondly, I would say that when it comes to leadership, so they are also playing a great role, a crucial role in motivating and inspiring their teams, right? So, how a leader, if not a good communicator, will able to inspire others or able to say, okay, come on, let's go, let's do it. Because it's not only about the energy which they have to, put into them, but about the clarity or the confidence, as you said right now, he has to pass on. So I believe, again, communication plays as a pathway. And I mean, it also reminds me another thing that, the most crucial thing comes when the managers or the leaders have to give a feedback to their teams. Now, whether this feedback will be taken as the constructive or the destructive one, it is only in the hand of the leaders,
True.
right? So one who is listening to the leaders and receiving their feedback, that is the secondary theory, that what they are perceiving these feedbacks as. But the first theory comes by the hand of the leaders itself. So I think leadership and communication plays a vital role, and they go in hand. So that's, I mean, that's how leadership, I mean, communication plays a significant role in being a successful leader. And I mean, am I missing any part of the question?
No, no, it's wonderfully you have explained, and I completely agree with you that that what you're trying to say is that action speaks louder than word. Of course, leader,
Wow.
if they are really wanted to want that their team can listen to them, they can't only talk; they can to prove them with the action. So that is very important. And another thing that you talk about clarity. Of course, clarity comes by engagement. You can't get clarity just by sitting. Of course, you need to explore, and that exactly the leadership role is to explore, to take a risk, and that definitely team can also build up the trust on the leadership. And then of course the communication really plays a beautiful and wonderful role, that you very well explained about this thing, this question that you have asked you. And similarly, I would like to ask you another question, like, in your experience, what are the essential element of effective business communication, and how can professionals develop these skills?
Okay, so when you talk about the elements, so there is something called, which you might have heard, most of the people knows about. There is something called 7 C's. You know about 7 C's of communication, right? We
Mhm.
generally impart these 7 C's in our programs, because these are the foundation of any communication, whether it is a written communication, or it's an speaking communication, or it's about texting or anything. So what I mean to just say is that these are the 7 C's which works as a foundation. But today, the when you are asking me about the important elements, the significant one, so I would love to say the 3 C's over here, including one A from my side. Okay, so have you heard about ACC cement? Have you heard about
ACC.
ACC
Yes,
cement?
yes, of course,
Right.
of course. Yeah.
सुपर सो दीज थ्री एलिमेंट्स, वो एसीसी सीमेंट वाला जो काम है ना, वही ये तीन ये एसीसी करता है बेसिकली. सो माय एलिमेंट्स आर आल्सो एज एसीसी, सो वेयर ए स्टैंड्स फॉर द अथॉरिटी. So
Okay.
one must have the authority in their communication. So when I say authority, Arpita, I mean, it is not related to any position in the corporate I'm talking about, right? So it's not that if leader are speaking only, then they have the authority in the communication. But if any from any level of the organization, anybody is speaking, one should have the authority. That means they must have the deeper understanding of the message or the communication which they want to impart. right? So the A stands for the authority. Then it comes the C. Then C says clarity. As we were talking about clarity of goals and vision of the leaders, so definitely clarity is one of the key. And I say it is a key to understanding. Now, why it is a key to understanding? Here, I would love to share my another small technique. Uh, do you love KFC, Arpita? Are you
KFC,
non-veg
yes,
lover?
yes, yes. Of course,
Wow.
I'm a Bengali non-vegetarian is always there. KFC ka chicken.
Right. So, yes, but what I'm sharing is not the KFC, but it is called KFD. Okay.
Okay.
So, one should know, and when I'm talking about clarity, so first it stands for K, one should know about their message. So, one should have the clarity about their message, what they need to convey across. Second, it says F. F means how they want other person to feel about this conversation. So right now, as what we are having a conversation, it has a purpose to solve by the end of it, right? So how do I want or how do you want our audience to feel regarding this conversation is also very important. Then it says D. So that means do it. So
Mm.
what we want our audience to do about it? I mean, after this conversation, what we want our audience to do about it? That is also very important. So clarity in terms of this KFD is very important. Second, the third C, I mean, second C, but the third element which I'm talking about is called the confidence, which you shared with me earlier, which you look upon in every leader. So confidence, I say it is the key to deliver your message. So confidence in your approach is something which will actually also exhibit the authority as well, right? So that is also another thing which is important. And the last C stands for conciseness, because we are in the world of tech driven, where आपकी और मेरी जो रील्स देख देख के शॉर्ट्स देख देख के जो हमारा अटेंशन स्पैन इतना शॉर्ट हो गया है, so that is the reason हमारा communication भी अब short और simpler होना चाहिए. That is the most important. So that's where it comes as the last C, which is called conciseness. So it's basically ACCC: authority, clarity, confidence, and conciseness.
Conditions.
And I call it as key to respect others' time,
Wow.
right? So this is what we need to understand.
It's beautifully you have explained, and this is a very beautiful concept you have shared with all of us. That is wonderful. So my next question is, of course, in everyone's life there is a challenges also come, right? And challenges is a part and parcel of life. So what are some common challenges professional face in business communication, and do you have any advice on overcoming them?
Well, Arpita, when you are saying challenges facing in the corporates or the business communication, when it specifically comes to, because we use this term mostly in the corporates, right? So I'm generally talking about, yes, business communication, but as well as about the communication. So when we say about the challenges in corporates, so yes, there are plenty of it, and effective communication, I will say, it's never been an easy and a simple thing, right? Which you and me, we all are facing, experiencing, and understanding in every day of our life, right?
Absolutely.
So when it comes to challenges, so yes, there are plenty of challenges in corporates going on, from psychological walkouts from the organization, where employees are not feeling comfortable having a great or a, I would say, a good relationship even with their immediate bosses, to, if I say, employee engagement, the teams are not engaging among themselves even to express their point of views or bringing the best out of them. Recently, I mean, like, we had a one of the program. I will not name the corporation, but yes, it was really amazed that their financial goal was to close it as 15 crores. Okay, but because they were not uh, communicating or engaging among themselves, and that was the reason they didn't know that they can even cross this 15 crores. So when we had a training program where they open up and they have the team engagement, they were surprised themselves that yes, they cannot close only 15 crores. They can close up to 23 crores. And that's what they did in this financial year, in March itself. And it made us so happy and proud that yes, this is the effect of the, training programs comes when it comes to, this is the effect of the impact of the training program basically on the employees. So as we are talking about the challenges, so this is the another challenge. And then there are the challenge. I was reading one of the case study of Starbucks that I'm not sharing the case study right now, just sharing the crux with you, that whatever the fancy products you have, whatever the fancy services you have to offer to others, but until and unless you are not good in conveying your services or the about your product, you cannot sell your services or the product. So there again comes the another challenge in the quiz. They are unable to market themselves unless and until they are not good in communication. So these are the major problems which I believe there are plenty of reasons behind it as well. So if time permits, I can share a few things further about it.
Yes,
So, like,
please.
do we have time?
Yes, yeah, please
Perfect.
go ahead.
Okay. So, as I was saying, these are the challenges which corporates are facing, and there are plenty of reasons behind it. So, one of it is like miscommunication. See, when communication is not happening, so definitely something is happening, and that is called miscommunication, right? So, miscommunication is happening because of the, I believe, because of the overload of information, first thing. Now, when I say overload of information, I worked within the organization as well, because now I am working on my own, but I worked with corporates yet, right? So what I'm saying, the flow of emails they receive every single day is something which is unbelievable. So one after the another, in every second, one new email is popping up in their mailbox. So that's where the first problem arises. और emails में कितना mismatch होता है, they are unable to prioritize their emails and which they have to work upon right now, which they can work on later on. So they are unable to decide. Second, lack of clarity and confidence. Again, because of this, they are unable to convey the right messages and in a right way, I would say. The third important thing what I have recently, it was there earlier as well, but now corporates are sensitive towards it, which is called, difference of culture. So communication across cultures and generation also makes a difference. So because of this as well, this is another challenges which are going on in the corporates, and they face difficulties conveying across cultures. और जनरेशन का तो आपको आजकल मालूम ही है. Other day I was posting on LinkedIn as well. There's a difference between millennials like us and then the boomers and the Gen Z. So it happens, right? And lastly, I can say that yes, choosing the right tool is also very important. When we say right tool, so yes, the thing which can be done only for on a 2 minutes call. I don't think for everything you need to just drop in an email, right? So if the things can be done on a message, so one should, start practicing all those things, and one should start having. I cannot say start having a common sense, because science says that common sense is not common, but yes, we can start learning and start practicing at least. So be aware. One has to be conscious, and one has to plan their communication strategically nowadays, I believe, in this tech-driven world, and then only they will able to solve these challenges which I have just shared.
It was so wonderful talking with you. We have very less time, just 6 minutes is showing in my screen. So thank you so
Yes.
much for joining my podcast, and it was really a great, discussion with you. Just in a 2 minutes, if you can share some message to our all audience who are going to watch this podcast, and I request all the audience, please comment, more and more question, because clarity comes by engagement. So if you ask more questions, Shipra can help you to give you the answer. And also I'll in my descriptions, and I can add on her all social network details, so you can directly approach her also for any kind of if you need help from her. So Shipra, just 2 minutes you have, if you can share something, some message that you want to give to all the people who are really wanted to improve their communication, especially the business communication.
Okay, first thing is who really want to improve their business communication. So if we are talking about tips over here, so definitely I can share few. Out of which, first I would say we need to prioritize our communication, or first of all prioritize on because अभी हम लोग emails की बात कर रहे थे ना कि we have so many things to do in a day. So first of all, prioritize your work. On the top of it, the most important thing what I would love to share is that listen to others.
Wonderful.
It is very, very, very important. Listen to others. Lately, I was listening to one of the TED Talk, and this is the example, or the, I would say, analogy which we have been sharing since ages. We have been given 2 ears, one mouth, so there
Yeah.
must be some reason behind it. So figure out that reason, and
Yeah.
that is the reason where I say be mindful about your communication. You one has to be, because technology has made it so fast, efficient, undoubtedly, but more accessible as well. Because
Yeah.
of this, it has also created a culture where, always on connectivity, and it has blurred the lines between your work and the professional and the personal life. And that's where we need to understand it can be a boom. Technology can be a boom for us if we will use, if we can become conscious and strategic about our communication.
Wonderful. It was super message. Thank you so much for joining my show. And today's session was so informative, not only informative, but a lot of fun. Like I really enjoyed talking with you. I wish you all the best for your career, and you are doing great. And I'm sure you will going to do wonderful job. So thank you so much once again to, join and share this so much of information, so much of, you know, not only information, but so much of practical things that you have shared. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Arpita, for having me once again, and wishing you a great life to everyone who is listening to us, and wishing you all the very best for your further podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye. Take care.
Take care.